Okay, imagine a world where cricket matches could be 40, 50, or even 60 overs a side, where the ball color changes mid-game, and the rules for rain delays feel like a math puzzle. Sounds chaotic, right? But this was the wild, experimental lab that is ODI cricket. And honestly, I think this chaos is what made it the most innovative format in sports. Let me explain why. Back in 1971, the first ODI was basically a backup plan. A rain-ruined test match led to a 40-over experiment that nobody took seriously. But here's the twist, that experiment became the breeding ground for every major cricket innovation. Think about it, no other format has tinkered with its DNA this much. The third umpire, DRS, day-night matches, all of these were test-driven in ODIs. Why? Because ODIs had the most to prove. They weren't the traditional Test cricket's pure game, nor the flashy new kit like T20s. So they had to evolve or die. Let's start with the most obvious, overs. Today's batters cringe at 40-over games, but guess what? The first World Cup was 60 overs. 60. And countries couldn't even agree on how many balls per over. Australia used 8 ball overs for years. The inconsistency here is hilarious. Pakistan went from 35 to 40 to 50 overs like they're changing shirts. And India. They tried 50 overs in the 80s but kept getting screwed by fog and bad light. One match in Nagpur finally worked in 1985, imagine needing 16 tries to get a full game in. What this tells me is that the 50-over format wasn't some divine blueprint. It was survival of the fittest. The World Cup in 1987 finally forced global standardization, until teams like Pakistan immediately reverted to 40 afterward. Classic. Now, let's talk about rain rules. If you've ever cursed the Duckworth-Lewis method, you're not alone. But here's the thing, before DLS, this was the Wild West. In 1973, England just told teams to bat through monsoon floods. New Zealand forced Pakistan to play in Stygian gloom, actual fog so thick, players couldn't see the ball. Then came the 90s with their remove the lowest scoring overs method, which South Africa infamously gamed in 1992 by conceding 22 runs in one over to manipulate the target. That's right, they wanted a bad over to exploit the rules loophole. DLS fixed this by mathematically valuing both wickets and overs, but even that took years to adopt. Australia resisted until the ICC basically said, no, this isn't optional. What this shows is that cricket administrators were flying by the seat of their pants for decades. Innovation here wasn't planned, it was reactive. And can we talk about the white ball drama? Switching to white kookaburras in the 90s wasn't just about visibility under lights, it changed the game's physics. White balls got dirty faster, couldn't swing late, and made reverse swing nearly impossible. So the ICC's fix was, using 2 white balls per innings? One from each end. This actually created a new problem, balls didn't age enough, so spinners and reverse swing bowlers lost their edge. Then in 2025, they finally said, okay, teams can keep 1 ball after 34 overs. Took them 30 years to realize you can't just paint a red ball white and expect it to work. The bigger point? Equipment changes aren't neutral, they shape strategies. If the 2003 World Cup had used Duke's balls instead of kookaburras, who knows how that tournament ends? Field restrictions are another masterpiece of trial and error. In 1979, Mike Burley put all 10 fielders on the boundary for West Indies' final over. That's legal. Not for long. The 90s introduced power plays, which evolved into today's structured fielding rules. But here's what fascinates me, these rules didn't just prevent defensive cricket, they created modern batting. When the 15-over field restrictions hit in 1992, Tendulkar and Gilchrist thrived. The game didn't reward caution anymore, it demanded aggression. So the rules didn't just change the game, they defined its stars. And let's not forget the tiebreakers. From who won more games head-to-head, to super overs to boundary comebacks, the fact that we are still arguing over how to resolve ties in 2023 shows how arbitrary it all is. The 1999 World Cup semi-final? Decided by a head-to-head result from months prior. That's like deciding a playoff game based on regular season stats. Madness. So here's my take: ODI cricket survived not because of its rules, but despite them. It's a testament to the format's resilience that it became a global phenomenon amid this chaos. Every tweak, whether the Duckworth-Lewis method, colored uniforms, or power plays, was a desperate fix to a problem nobody saw coming. And yet, these solutions shaped the modern game. Without ODI's lab-like chaos, T20s might never have existed. Without the scramble to standardize, the World Cup might have fizzled out. So next time you groan at a DLS decision or a 30-yard field rule, remember, this format was built on trial, error, and a whole lot of improvisation. What's next? AI run field settings? A 45-over World Cup? Don't be surprised. In ODIs, the only constant is change.